love me.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while. You have to excuse my eye. I have this like little thing right there above my eye. You guys are probably noticing more of my vlog because I'm not that close to this camera. I don't know what it is. Basically, it's been there for a couple of days, and I think it's due to me not getting enough sleep because this has kind of been a rough week, and it did happen to me once before when I was in middle school, which was many years ago. So I think it's due to me not getting enough rest. So if you see something on my eye, just ignore it. It's just for me not getting enough sleep. But basically, I know I haven't uploaded a video in a while. Like I said, this has been a rough week. I probably haven't uploaded a video in like 5 or 6 days, which is bad because I try not to go more than 2 days without, uploading a video or whatever. It was just a rough week. It really was. To make videos, this was just a rough week. I ain't gonna make excuses. I ain't gonna take up too much of your time, but I just wasn't able to make videos. It was just a super rough week, and I know I probably wasn't getting enough sleep, so I know my body suffered from that. But thank you to the guys and girls, my subscribers, who watched my last video, the glue challenge, the 100 layers of glue challenge. Which was an older video, and I wasn't able to upload any content, so I had to find one of my old videos and put up another one, which I don't like doing. I don't like putting up the same video twice unless the first time I uploaded it didn't get a lot of views and I put it up again. But I just put that up there just to have something on the channel because I really don't like going days without having a video on my channel or whatever. So that's why I did that. And also, the last time I checked, we're at 296. So almost four more subscribers, and we'll be at 300, and I'll be super happy about that. It really seems so unrealistic, that I would have almost 300 subscribers. It just doesn't seem real to me. It's almost like a fantasy. Almost, it doesn't seem like real life, but it is. But I'm gonna jump into the story time video because my camera battery, I thought the battery was full, but it's only 0.5%. So let me jump into the story time. I done wasted like 2 minutes of you guys' time just talking. This is an older story time that I've done before. Retelling it in 2017. It was. Now I must say, it's super hot, man. But I must say, my relationship with dogs has not always been the best. I think throughout my whole lifetime, I've been probably been chased about 5 or 6 times by dogs. So my relationship with dogs isn't the best. When me and my sister were going to elementary school, we would walk to elementary school. I would say it was about, how many blocks was it? Maybe a mile away. It wasn't that far away. And we had 2 ways to get to school. But in order to get, alright, let me say this. We had 2 ways to get to school. Me and my sister would walk to school and from school. But we had to cross this busy road. Now, side note, keep it tracked. We have Route A and Route B. But we had to cross this busy road, which was scary when I was little. But now that I think about it, the road wasn't so scary. It's about 4 lanes. It's basically a highway, but it's technically not. But it was scary when you're a little kid because cars would speed down there, and it was always a scary street to cross. Now, I'm not as scared as I was little, but that street is almost like a highway to the city, but it's not technically a highway. But people treat it like it's a highway. So we had a Route A and we had Route B. Route A, if we took Route A to get to school, we had to cross the busy street where there was no crossing guard at, because at this intersection there wasn't a crossing guard. And like I said, this was a busy street, so we was in elementary school. It was kind of scary. So we could go to Route A, which is safe. We didn't have to worry about. Also, side note, there was a Pitbull running loose in the area. It was loose. Animal control was trying to catch it. There was this kid, this family. It was their Pitbull, but it was like they let it do whatever it wanted. It would like roam the streets, chase people. It was a very dangerous dog. and like all the kids were scared of this dog, even the people in the neighborhood. It was a very vicious dog. So we could take Route A, which we had to cross a busy street. It was safe because we didn't have to worry about the dog, but there was no crossing guard there. Or we would take Route B, which we had to cut through the neighborhood where the dog was at, but there was a crossing guard there to help us get across the street. So it was like, since we were little, we wanted to be where the crossing guard was at to help us get across the street, but we had to also worry about the dog at the same time. And also, if we took Route B, we would, meet up with our friends, because most of our friends took Route B. But if you go Route A, it's safe, but you got to worry about getting across that street. Which it was like, there was a red light there, but it was like, in order to get across the street, you probably would have to run it, because that's how fast the light changed. Like, no, seriously, it's like if you started walking, you probably would make it halfway you probably would start making it halfway in the middle of the street, then the light would change. You probably would be stuck there, because, so we would take Route B, and there was a crossing guard there, and I just like being there. It felt safe because there was a crossing guard there, and it was somebody like watching over us in case the dog came or anything. She was like the protector. So we always chose Route B because even though it was dangerous because of the dog, but the crossing guard was there to help us get across the street. So this one particular day, we was coming back home from school, and it was me and my sister coming back home from school, and we had just crossed a busy street. And we were on our way home. We was walking. We was probably about 3 blocks away from home, and we saw the dog. Now, mind you, this was a Pitbull, but it only had 3 legs, though. So I saw the Pitbull was probably about a block away, but we had eye contact. and they always say the number one rule is, if you ever see a dog, do not run, because if you start running, they're going to think you're playing. I was with my sister. I don't know, for some reason, I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but for some reason, my mind just said run. And I took off like what's his name? Usain Bolt. I took off. I left my sister. I don't know why I did that, though. I don't know why. What made me just want to take off? I just took off running. I didn't even say, hey, let's start running. She didn't even know what's going on. And I was running, and I could see her trying to keep up with me in the background, which I don't know why I did it, but I was running, and she was behind me. I don't know if the dog could actually follow. I think he started running. When I started running, I saw him run towards us, but the boy who was like the owner of the dog, I think he stopped the dog. I don't know how far he actually followed us, but I know I was running, and I looked back, I could see my sister running behind me, which is kind of sad. I just left it. But it was just, I don't know why I did that. If I wouldn't have ran, the dog wouldn't chase me, but for some reason my mind just said run, and we ran into this retirement home. There was a retirement home, and we both ran into this retirement home, and there was a receptionist at the front, and she was like, what was going on? And it was like, we got chased by a dog, and she was like, well, call your parents. So luckily, I had this notebook in my backpack, and it had all like the important, like my mother, grandmother, grandfather numbers in the book. So I pulled up the book so she could like call them. This was back at the time we didn't have cell phones at the time. So luckily, I guess we didn't get home at the time we supposed to. So my mother came, and she walked past the retirement home, and we saw her. We was like, hey, we like ran out the building because she was looking for us, and she knew the route that we took. So she was like, they should have been home by now. So she came out the house, and we was inside the retirement home, and we saw her walk past. So we like ran outside and was like, hey, we're here. So then she walked us home. We told her what happened. Some people can say I'm a petty person for leaving my sister. I just took off running. I don't know why I took off running, but it was sad that you would get chased by a 3-legged pit bull. That's just, it's crazy. It really is crazy. And I think, in the weeks after, which that technically was all my fault. If I wouldn't have ran, the dog wouldn't have chased us. But in the weeks after that, I think the dog was eventually captured by animal control, and the streets was safe. It was safe to take Route B. That they had captured the pit bull that was terrorizing the streets. I mean, kids was terrified of this dog. It was just, I mean, a pit bull is scary by itself, but imagine a pit bull with 3 legs. That's even more scary. You think 4 legs is scary. Imagine you seeing a 3-legged pit bull running after you as a little kid. That's scary. But that was even to this day, my sister always still brings up the point that I left her behind. I just don't know what I was thinking. It's just sometimes you do stuff that you're like, why did I do that? But like, I know it's totally my fault, but at least that one time when I got chased by a dog, that was my fault because I ran first. The other 6 times that I could tell you guys a story about, it wasn't my fault before. It wasn't like this one time I was chased. This was part of the video. This is extra bonus footage for you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys the story. I lived right across the street from these kids. They had a playground. They had a playground in their backyard, so all the kids would go to their backyard. We all had big backyards in the neighborhood, but they had a playground in the back of theirs. And it was right across the street from, my house, so we would go over there. And mind you, they had a big fence. And they had this big Great Dane, like, Greyhound dog. It was black. That thing was tall. It was like a Great Dane. Google Great Dane if you don't know what I'm talking about. And mind you, I was little. I don't know. What grade was I in? Maybe 2nd grade? 1st, 2nd grade? Maybe. I don't even know. So we were playing in a playground or whatever, in the backyard. And I remember one of the little kids said, I'm about to bring the dog out. He went in the house, so before he was going to bring the dog out, I was trying to get out the fence. So I started, now, this is how good dog, no, this wasn't my fault though. I started running, but the dog wasn't outside the house yet, so it's not technically my fault, because I wasn't running in the sight of the dog. So I was running to the front of. So when he said he's going to get the dog why would he bring the dog out there? But once I heard him say I'm going to get the dog, I haultailed. I slid down the slide. I ran around front, but I guess the dog, they sensed me. He sensed me in the backyard, so he came right around the corner. I don't know how he knew I was around going towards the back of the house, but like dogs, they know who live in their house, and if you like a visitor or a guest, your scent like stands out to them, so they'll come towards you, smell you, like check you out. That's what dogs do. So he came right for me, and their fence went around their whole house, so I was going around front to try to get out the gate. But before I could get out the gate, the dog was already outside the house, so he was like right up behind me, and it got to the point where I did run track in high school, but it was like, to this day, I don't know how I jumped over the fence. Because my mother and my aunt were sitting across the street, and they watched the whole thing. They watched me being chased by this Great Dane in the backyard. So I jumped over the fence with one arm. I left one of my shoes in the yard. I hopped across the street with one shoe on. I ran in the house, and I just laid on the couch, and I started crying. It was a crazy thing. And they came in the house, and they was just bust out laughing, because to them it was the funniest thing. I don't know what happened. I was just trying to beat the dog coming outside the house, so I started running. Like I said, I don't know how I got across the fence. They said I went across like a one-handed. That tells you how scared I was, because the size I was and how tall that fence was, I don't know how I made it across the fence. In the process, I left one of my shoes in that backyard. I skipped across the street with one shoe on. I ran up the steps. I ran in the living room, and that was the end of the story. And in that neighborhood, I actually got chased by 2 dogs. But I'm in the video here. I've been talking long enough. Just that brings back memories, man. That was the early 2000s. Yeah, that was the early 2000s when that happened. But thank you guys for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, comment, and like. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Gon' handle your biz and make that money, money, money. Your money, money, money. I can take off your clothes. Let's get it. Long as you come in.